The lantern's glow danced across the farmhouse window, the first sign of life Jake Harlan had seen there in a decade. He eased off his truck, muscles aching for a long day in the fields, his old revolver tucked in his belt. Out here in the Oklahoma Panhandle, 50 miles from Amarillo, unexpected visitors spelled trouble poachers, land grabbers, or worse. But as he nudged the door open, his heart stopped cold. A woman was perched in Sarah's old rocking chair, flipping through Sarah's journal by the dim light of a kerosene lamp. Auburn hair tumbled over her shoulders like autumn leaves in the wind, the same slender fingers that had once brushed his cheek. Sarah, the name slipped out like a ghost from his past. She glanced up, those hazel eyes locking onto his, but the face was fresher, fiercer, full of life. "I'm Mia," she said softly, "Sarah's sister." Jake's hand twitched toward his gun. In that instant, every barrier he'd built around his shattered heart started to crack. 10 years of isolation, 10 years of loyal grief, and now Thiza, living echo of his dead wife, right in the spot where Sarah had spent her last days. What does a man do when the ghost of his love walks back into his life, wearing a stranger's smile? When longing crashes into shame like a storm on the plains? Before we plunge into this tangled web of desire and regret on the American frontier, imagine the weight of it, all the kind that keeps you hooked, questioning every choice. Oklahoma Panhandle, November 1892. The wind sliced through the flatlands like a blade, hinting at the harsh winter that had already crippled the wheat harvests. But Jake Harlan scarcely felt the chill anymore. It had been his shadow for 10 long years. He hadn't always been this hollow shell. Flashback to a warmer time. Sarah Ellis had been 22 when she hopped off that Santa Fe railroad car in Amarillo, straight from Kansas City high society lace gown, diamond studs, and that entitled gay city girl's warlike armor. Stunning, but Sarah saw past Jake's rough edges, the dirt under his nails from tilling soil dawn to dusk. She saw a future. "You don't say much," she'd tease at the county fair, her hand light on his sleeve. "Nothing worth saying to fancy types like you." He'd shot back, blunt as ever. Her laugh rang out like wind chimes on a porch. Maybe that's what drew me in. 3 months later, she'd ditched the silks for denim, ballrooms for a modest farmhouse, chandeliers for starlit skies over endless golden fields. For 3 blissful years, she thrived. Jake saw it in her morning smiles over coffee, the way she'd rush out to meet him after chores, the letters she'd penned to her kid sister Mia, bubbling with joy about their quiet life. "I never knew peace could feel this full," she'd whispered one night, head on his shoulder as the sunset bled orange across the horizon. Then the winter of '82 hit like a freight train. Blizzards buried everything in white fury, temperatures plunging to 30 below. Sarah fell ill and weak, pneumonia ravaged her lungs. By week 5, Jake was clawing at frozen ground with numb hands to bury her behind the house. She passed, murmuring his name, her eyes glazed, staring at some distant peace he couldn't reach. Back to November 1892, and now her sister was here, poring over Sarah's private words. The likeness punched him in the gut, but where Sarah had been calm like a steady stream, Mia was a wildfire untamed, burning bright. "How'd you track me down?" he growled, holstering his piece. Mia rose, and he noticed how the frontier bite had already toughened her city softness, giving way to grit. "Sarah's letters. She wrote about you, this farm, how it made her whole." "Whole?" The word stung like salt in a wound. "She died here in that bed, begging for help I couldn't give." Mia's tone sharpened, unlike Sarah's gentle lilt. "She lived first. 3 years, that's more than most grab in a lifetime." Outside, the wind howled, rattling shutters, a norther was barreling in. The nearest town was 50 miles through rugged Badlands. No way she'd make it tonight, maybe not for days. The idea should have scared him spitless. Instead, watching her navigate Sarah's kitchen with that effortless poise, something in his iced-over soul began to melt. For the first time in 10 years, it felt dangerously like warmth. But warmth, Jake was about to discover, could scorch worse than frost. For weeks blurred into a haze of tension and revelation. Mia couldn't boil water without scorching it truaned eggs, oversalted stew, coffee strong enough to wake the dead. But damn if she didn't try every dawn. She was hopeless on a horse, too. First roundup, she tumbled twice, nearly got stomped by a rogue steer. Yet she dusted off and climbed back up every time. Sarah had taken to farm life like breathing. Mia battled for it, earning blisters and bruises through pure bullheadedness. And Lord, Jake couldn't stop staring the way she chewed her lip in focus, swept stray curls aside with a flour-dusted hand, the elegant tilt of her neck when she laughed outright. She was nothing like Sarah. She was everything like Sarah. Then came the night that shattered the fragile peace. December gales screamed around the farmhouse. Jake had driven to Amarillo for supplies, leaving Mia solo a choice he'd curse forever. He caught the whiff of cigar smoke first, then heard rough voices. Trouble. 3 vagrants, railroad drifters by their stench, had forced their way in. Through the window, Jake saw Mia cornered, Sarah's antique shotgun trembling in her grip. One thug loomed close, leering. Easy, darlin'. Just want some shelter. And company. The others blocked the exits, eyes hungry. Get out, Mia snapped, voice steady but her stance screaming fear. The leader chuckled. You even know how to pull that trigger? Jake moved like a shadow, skills honed from guarding his land against coyotes and 2-legged predators alike. He burst in silently knife, sinking into the first man's side before he could yell. The second spun, only to meet Jake's revolver barrel. Out, Jake commanded low and lethal. The third glanced at his fallen buddy and fled into the dark. When the chaos cleared, Mia crumpled into Jake's arms, shotgun clattering down. She shook like a storm-tossed branch, feeling small and breakable for the first time. You're safe, he breathed into her hair, inhaling her faint lavender scent. She lifted her gaze, hazel eyes deep pools in the firelight, and the air between them ignited. Some boundaries snapped, some floodgates burst. She wore one of Sarah's old sundresses, the floral one with pearl snaps down the front. Her hair had loosened in the fight, cascading in waves. In the heart's glow, she was a vision that twisted his insides. Jake, she murmured, and the hunger in her voice set him ablaze. His hands cupped her face, thumbs grazing her jaw. She leaned in, lips parting, pulse racing at her throat. The dress had ripped, bearing her shoulders' smooth arc. His eyes traced it, and instead of retreating, she undid another snap, then one more. Fabric slipped, revealing soft curves that glowed like moonlight on wheat. When she reached for his shirt buttons, fingers shaky with urgency, he didn't resist. Flannel fell away, exposing his scarred torso from years of hard labor. She traced a faded wound, her touch sparking lightning in his blood. Mia, he rasped, equal parts caution and craving. But she ignored the warning, hands fumbling at his belt. As skin met skin, the world vanished nothing but heat and need. They stumbled to the bed, her dress pooling on the floor beside his jeans. She lay back, hair fanning like a halo on the pillows, and Jake nearly broke from the ache of wanting her. She pulled him close, and he surrendered until his eyes snagged on the framed photo by the bed. Sarah's wedding picture, her soft smile piercing him like an accusation. He jerked back, gasping. Reality slammed in like a blizzard. What the hell was he doing? This was Sarah's bed, Sarah's home, Sarah's sister. I can't, he choked, scrambling away. God, forgive me, can't. He snatched his shirt and bolted to the barn, leaving Mia alone in the tangled sheets, her face a mask of bewilderment and pain. Outside, the gale had quieted, but inside Jake, a fiercer tempest raged. Some fires, once kindled, refused to die. For 5 agonizing days, they circled each other like wary strays. Jake drowned in chores fixing unbroken fences, tending healthy crops, patrolling his acres until exhaustion claimed him. Anything to dodge the betrayal in Mia's eyes. She played pretend, brewed his coffee, cooked his meals, still charred, still earnest. But the easy chatter evaporated, replaced by a silence thick as fog. On the 6th morning, she vanished. No goodbye, no note, just an empty house and tire tracks fading toward Amarillo. Jake stood in the doorway, clutching Sarah's photo, one that had saved him from ruin or maybe robbed him of salvation. He couldn't tell. 3 hours later, he was gunning his truck toward town, heart pounding like thunder. The Amarillo bus depot hummed with frontier bustle farmers haggling, families boarding greyhounds east or west, chasing fortunes or fleeing failures. The afternoon coach to Kansas City idled, engine rumbling, ready to haul folks back to city lights. He spotted her instantly, Mia on the platform in her travel coat, the same one she'd arrived in, suitcase at her feet. She stared at the bus like it was a noose, looking vulnerable, nothing like the Spitfire who'd stared down armed thugs with a gun she'd barely handled. The driver hollered, "All aboard," and riders shuffled on. Jake parked and strode over, boots thudding on concrete. She heard him, shoulders stiffening, but didn't turn. "Running?" he asked. "Going home." Her voice held steady, but pain laced it. "Is there a difference?" She faced him then, eyes raw with hurt that gutted him. "You made your stance, clear what I mean to you. I think you're the most perilous woman I've known," he admitted. "You can make me shatter every vow, cross every line I swore sacred. And for a guy like me, yeah, that's terrifying." The bus horn blared, final call. Mia grabbed her bag, but her feet rooted. "She's gone, Jake. Sarah's been gone 10 years. And you've been buried with her." "Maybe that's right. Maybe." She edged nearer, her lavender scent wrapping around him. "But is it what Sarah would have wanted?" Before he could respond, she headed for the steps. The driver helped her up. She took a window seat. Through the glass, their gazes locked one last time. The bus groaned forward. Mia flattened her palm against the pane, hesitation flickering. Would she stop it? She didn't. Jake watched it vanish down the highway, carrying her to a world without him. Then he drove back to his hollow farm and the memories lurking there. But some memories demand reckoning. 3 days of torment, that's what Jake endured after Mia left. 72 hours pacing like a trapped wolf, seeing her ghost everywhere. Her hum over burnt toast, curled in Sarah's chair with a novel, firelight kissing her skin. The bed sheets still whispered of lavender and loss. On day 4, he fired up the truck without thinking, body overriding his stubborn mind. He had to bring her back. The drive to Amarillo dragged on eternally, every mile a battle with doubt. What words could fix this? The depot shimmered in noon haze like a dream. His truck tires smoked from the push, but as he scanned the crowds, his pulse skipped. There she was, Mia beside stacked bags, her coat swapped for a simple cotton dress, Sarah's floral one with those pearl snaps. The one from that fateful night. She eyed the eastbound bus, but glanced west toward him. Their eyes met across the throng, noise fading to nothing. Jake approached slowly, like taming a skittish mare. Folks milled about reunions, farewells, deals struck, but only she existed. "Thought you headed to Kansas City," he said, close enough to count the freckles on her nose. Made it to Woodward. Her whisper trembled. Couldn't go farther. Why? She studied her hands, Sarah's hands, but calloused now from farm toil. Because on that bus it hit me. Sarah didn't just write about this land, she wrote about you. The man who made her beam with a glance, showed her joy in the everyday, loved her so fiercely he'd rather wither than dishonor her. But she wrote something else too. Her eyes held his, fierce. She wanted you happy, truly alive, not just surviving. Jake's defenses shattered, a decade's armor crumbling. Mia, don't, she raised a hand. Say nothing. If you want me on that bus back to Kansas City, marrying some banker like Theodore Grant and vanishing, I'll go. She inched closer, gold flecks dancing in her hazel eyes. But if you want me home, if you believe Sarah would forgive us for choosing life over ghosts. The driver bellowed, final boarding. Riders searched. Jake grasped her hand, warm, solid, alive. Come home, he grated, voice thick with buried feeling. Come home with me. The bus rolled away empty of her. As his truck carried them across the vast plains, their silhouettes merged in the setting sun, not fleeing history, but forging ahead together. What do you think about Jake and Mia's story? Was it right for them to find love amid the echoes of the past? Or should grief have kept them apart? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, share your stance, whether you agree with their choice or not. Let's hear your take on this tale of redemption